Hello and welcome back to Film Vault, where today we're counting down 20 crazy facts about Invincible. Between Wahlberg juggling multiple movies at once, real-life events that got completely rewritten for the screen, hidden cameos, and behind-the-scenes moments, we're ready to put it all out there. But before we get into it, I know that you love these breakdowns of your favorite films, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so that you never miss out on another great upload. And let us know in the comments what movie we should cover next. Number 20. By 2005, Mark Wahlberg was moving from one film set to another without much of a break. He had wrapped up Four Brothers in Toronto, jumped onto The Departed in Boston, and was already growing his hair out for his next role in Invincible. When Wahlberg paused The Departed to head to Philadelphia and shoot Invincible, he added long hair extensions for the role. The trouble began when he came back to finish The Departed because Scorsese wanted him to look like a tough, no-nonsense Boston cop, and the long hair didn't fit that look. Wahlberg would share his frustration on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast in 2024, saying that when he got back, Scorsese had a problem, and he wasn't going to take the hair out for anything.
And so I went off to go and shoot Invincible, got my hair extensions, came back, and then they were like, oh, you got to take out the extensions. I was like, shit, took 8 hours. I'm not taking this out.
As a result, his appearance in the second half of The Departed featured the same hair extensions that he grew out for the Disney football film. Number 19. Mark Wahlberg had never even had on real football pads or worn a helmet. Growing up, he only played casual games of touch football in the street and had no formal experience from high school or college ball and never used any kind of organized equipment. The very first time he suited up in the real gear was for this film, and it was an NFL uniform. He called it a cool first-time experience. To prepare for his role, he had to train hard and work directly with the real person that he was portraying. The training was no joke, and Wahlberg even once revealed with a laugh that he had told a lie in order to get the role, joking that he claimed to have played college football even though he hadn't.
You get a taste for the pain?
Oh, every single day.
That's not pretty, is it?
No.
How those guys do that? They're getting hit by trucks and trains, basically.
A lot of ice, a lot of ibuprofen, painkillers. I mean, I went to bed easy, because they iced me up and, gave me whatever I needed to get in bed. It was getting up that was tough.
Number 18. In the original screenplay, Vince Papale noticed that his father wasn't included at all. This didn't sit right with him because his dad had been such a big part of his life and his story. He told ESPN he talked to the director and asked why his dad couldn't be in the movie because he was such an important part of everything. He explained that his father was there for every big moment and they were best friends. After speaking up, filmmakers then added his father to the script.
The original script did not have my dad written into it. And so Erickson, who was our director, and I talked to Gordon and Mark, Mark Chiardi and Gordon Gray, and I said, guys, how can my dad not be in here? He's such an important part of it.
Frank Papale was played by Kevin Conway and became one of the most important characters of the film. His relationship with Vince would show how close they were, and even Mark Wahlberg said the scenes with Frank felt personal to him. Number 17. The boy in the number 83 jersey running in front of Mark Wahlberg's car was Vince Papale Jr., the real Vince Papale's 8-year-old son. But he wasn't the only child in the movie from the family. The little girl playing quarterback and tossing the ball to her brother is Gabriella Papale, Vince's daughter. Vince Papale Jr. went on to play wide receiver at the University of Delaware and then later signed a 2-year contract with the Montreal Alouettes in the Canadian Football League in 2020. ESPN would announce his signing during the same week they re-aired the film. Number 16. The height difference between Mark Wahlberg and the real Vince Papale is surprising. Wahlberg is 5'8", while Papale was 6'2" when he played in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. But Wahlberg's height was close to Papale's high school height. As a teenager, Vince was about 5'7" to 5'8" before growing in college, and that detail connected Wahlberg to Papale's early life, even though he didn't match his NFL height. Wahlberg's portrayal showed Papale's underdog spirit. He weighed 170 pounds for the role, much lighter than Papale's 195 in the NFL. The difference is clear on the screen. Wahlberg looks smaller in training camp, and the camera adds to it, making Wahlberg seem physically dominated. Looper would note in 2022 that teammates literally looked down on Wahlberg like they figuratively looked down on the real-life Papale. Number 15. To prepare for his role as Dick Vermeil, Greg Kinnear spent time closely observing the real coach. During his final season with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2005, Kinnear followed him everywhere. Speaking to MovieWeb in 2006, he said that the coach allowed him to stalk him for a few days. Kinnear was impressed by how hard Vermeil worked to build a team and joined him at training camp, where he saw him study game film while also managing the chaos of his 7 grandchildren who were climbing on the furniture and throwing spitballs. The coach answered all of Kinnear's questions and showed him what it's like to be an NFL coach, and Kinnear was so nervous about making mistakes, but Vermeil's honesty helped him to act the role well. Soon after that, he retired, and that made the time spent with Kinnear even more special.
And all of a sudden, as we were standing there with him coaching the guys, they're all taking a knee, he's doing his coach deal, he says, and now Greg would like to say a few words. And I was like, I had absolutely, I remember it was like one of the great, I mean, just sweat pouring down my face going, football is important.
Number 14. Veterans Stadium, also known as the Vet, was torn down March 21st of 2004 before filming began in the summer of 2005. It would be taken down to make room for new places like Citizens Bank Park and Lincoln Financial Field. And since the Vet was gone, filmmakers had to think outside of the box, using CGI to recreate how the stadium would have looked in the 1970s. For the on-field scenes, the crew transformed Franklin Field at the University of Pennsylvania into a convincing stand-in for the Vet. The mix of CGI and practical effects would help to recreate the feel of the original stadium, and eagle-eyed fans can spot a few mistakes. The film showed the Vet with a running track that never existed and seat colors that weren't the same as the real thing. Number 13. A year after Invincible was released, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia aired the second episode of Season 3, The Gang Gets Invincible. The episode's a funny parody of the film, where Mac, Dennis, and Dee decide to try out for the Eagles after being inspired by the story. To make things even more silly, they keep mixing up Mark Wahlberg with Donnie Wahlberg, calling it That New Kids on the Block movie. The episode is the first time that Charlie appears as Greenman. Greenman is the character in the full green spandex suit that fans love right away. Over time, it became an important part of the show. Number 12. The cape-wearing fan in Invincible is played by Tony Luke Jr., the founder of Tony Luke's, a famous South Philly cheesesteak shop. He would be a great fit for the role. He's passionate as an Eagles fan and even once hosted an Eagles fan TV show in Philadelphia. Around the same time, he appeared on the Travel Channel and Food Network and competed in cheesesteak cook-offs with Bobby Flay. Tony called his role in the movie the ultimate Eagles fan, and the Philadelphia Inquirer described his performance as scene-stealing, and then went on to describe him as a plausible representation of a mid-70s Eagles fan. It was both a great match of personality and role, and Tony's appearance in the film earned him membership into the Screen Actors Guild.
Now what brings you out here today, sir? Gonna be an Eagle, baby! Yeah!
Number 11. The film includes one of the biggest legends in combat sports history, Randy Couture, the 6-time UFC champion and Hall of Famer, but you might miss him in the credits where he's listed as Tarucci player number 1. He played for a made-up team standing in for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The movie was filmed in 2005, the same year that he faced a tough loss. Chuck Liddell knocked him out for the first time in his MMA career. By 2006, Couture was at a turning point, and after having lost a third fight to Liddell, he then stepped away from mixed martial arts. His cameo in the movie came during a big moment in his life, moving from the octagon to Hollywood, and 4 years later, the same man tackling Mark Wahlberg in the film would be starring alongside Sylvester Stallone in The Expendables. Number 10. Bill Stink Fisher, who plays Denny Franks, has a surprising story. Before he was in the movie, he was making his name on the football field and began as a Division III football star at Rowan University. In 1993, he signed on as a free agent to the New York Jets, but was cut before the season began. He kept chasing his football dreams and played for the Montreal Alouettes in the CFL. One of the most memorable lines in the film comes from Fisher's real life, when Denny Franks tells Vince to watch their knuckles. It wasn't just acting, and Fisher said the advice came from his own father. His dad had taught him that if the knuckles turn white, the lineman is coming.
What color are my knuckles?
What?
What color are my knuckles?
The white.
They're white. You see, white because my weight's for it means I'm coming after you. If I'm laying back, the color comes back.
Number 9. Amongst the credited cast of the film is Rick Riley, who's listed as disgruntled fan. When the movie was being shot, Riley had already been chosen as the National Sports Writer of the Year 11 times while writing for Sports Illustrated. Known for his back-page columns, he was the most famous sports writer in America. Interestingly, he took on a small cameo in the movie, playing an Eagles fan grumbling in the stands. Just a year after it came out, he signed a $17 million deal with ESPN, making his career even bigger. Even though he was famous as a sports writer, his IMDb page only shows 2 roles. One was as the Eagles fan, and the other was in George Clooney's 2008 movie Leatherheads. Number 8. This movie would be the first feature film directed by Ericson Core, but he wasn't new to making movies. He had one of the most impressive cinematography resumes in Hollywood, doing big films like Payback, Mumford, The Fast and the Furious, and Daredevil. For The Fast and the Furious, he earned an AFI Award nomination for Cinematographer of the Year, and when Disney handed him Invincible, he had an unusual request, asking to be the director of photography as well. And that's when the studio said yes. That's why the Eagles' 1976 story in the movie looks like the same desaturated look as The Fast and the Furious. Corey continued to work as both director and cinematographer on other films like Point Break and Togo. Number 7. The same team that produced this movie was already famous for Disney sports films like The Rookie and Miracle. Their specialty was creating inspiring underdog stories, and for this football movie, they brought in Mark Ellis, a top sports coordinator. Ellis had worked on Any Given Sunday and choreographed hockey scenes in Miracle. His job was to help Mark Wahlberg look like a real NFL player. All the effort would end up paying off. A review in Variety from August of 2006 praised the movie's realistic feel, saying that it got the physical nature of the game correct. Ellis had coached stars like Lawrence Taylor and Jamie Foxx, so his experience became key. Number 6. The film shows Vince and Janet at Max's bar during the Philadelphia Eagles Open tryouts in 1976, but that never actually happened. Papale did not meet Janet, the woman who would become his wife, until 1993, 17 years after the events shown in the film. The movie makes it seem like she was a bartender and their love story began during those tryout times, but in real life she wasn't at all. She was a world-class gymnast who was on the USA Gymnastics World Team. It made Janet a New York Giants fan, and this added a funny rivalry with Vince, an Eagles fan. In real life, Janet was never a Giants fan. The romance in the film was a Hollywood creation. Mark Wahlberg and Elizabeth Banks played Vince and Janet, and Banks even earned an award nomination for Best Kiss. But their love story was actually fictional. During that time, Vince was dating his future second wife, Sandy, whom he would marry in June of 1977.
Another beer.
Hey! I grew up with brothers, but I got no problem hitting a girl.
Number 5. Dick Vermeil's son spent several days on the movie set watching Greg Kinnear portray his father. He was a few feet away studying every detail of Kinnear's performance. He called his father up to say that Kinnear had nailed him. He was so impressed that he even said it would feel scary watching someone else be his dad on screen. The conversation took place before Vermeil had even seen a single moment of the film, and when he learned about all the effort that Kinnear put into preparing for the role, he felt uneasy about watching the final cut. Kinnear visited Kansas City and spent time at training camp to study Vermeil's every single move. He said that the performance was so spot on it made him nervous, and even his family confirmed how accurate that it was. Number 4. In one scene, Vince Papale comes home to find his house empty, all the furniture's gone, and the only thing left is a note from his wife that says you'll never amount to anything. This moment feels like it could break anybody, but what's even more surprising is that it did actually happen. Vince's first wife Sharon did leave him and left a note just like that, but it didn't happen during his Eagles tryout week like the movie shows. The real story took place in 1971, 5 years before the events of the film. By the time Vince was chasing his dreams, in 1976 he had already been through the heartbreak and moved on and was about to marry his second wife Sandy. The movie took the painful moment from 71 and placed it in the middle of his story in order to create an emotional punch. The note was real and the emptiness was real, but Hollywood played with the timing to make the story hit even harder. Number 3. The moment where Vince Papale recovers a fumbled punt and scores a touchdown did not really happen. That recovery was real, but NFL rules in 1976 did not allow the ball to be advanced after a muffed punt. This meant that Vince's touchdown would not be possible. Instead, the offense would get the ball after he recovered it and scored on the next drive. Disney changed it to make the movie more exciting. Papale had never scored a regular season NFL touchdown in his career, and his only official catch was a 15-yard pass from Roman Gabriel in 1977. The only touchdown that he actually scored was during a preseason game against the Patriots in 1977, but in the film, they turned his fumble recovery into a storybook moment.
Come on, Vince.
Number 2. Elizabeth Banks went to the University of Pennsylvania. The campus was close to Franklin Field, where much of the movie was made. She graduated magna cum laude in 1996 with a degree in communication and a minor in theater arts. At Penn, she had joined the Tri Delta sorority and the Friars Senior Society, and filming near her old dorm must have felt strange. She even shared in an interview that visiting campus had brought back memories. She and her husband Max, also a Penn alum, walked around to see the iconic spots like the Button statue and Ben Franklin's bench. Banks had said that Philadelphia was one of the most underrated cities in the country. Her most exciting moment was not meeting Mark Wahlberg. It was when she met 2 Philadelphia Eagles players during a cast dinner at Budokan.
What a turnaround from last week.
Number 1. In 2001, Vince Papale was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and doctors removed 18 inches of his colon during surgery. He didn't give up, though. He worked hard to beat the disease, and eventually it went into remission. Only 5 years later, in 2005, he was a consultant on the set of Invincible, which was based on his own life. Papale went from fighting cancer to seeing his story inspire millions in a film. In 2007, he received the Vince Lombardi Symbol of Caring Award, which came after the success of the film. He said that it's not often a person could see a film made about their own life's journey, and what's even more rare was having the movie described as inspirational, motivational, and giving hope. Now be sure to smash that like button since you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you always know when we upload another video like this one. If you have any recommendations, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.